crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Hey guys, Bix Weir, roadroo.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga decaffeinated. Let's talk a little theta, talk a little silver, talk a little crypto, talk a little everything. Year zero is crazy. I hope you guys are feeling it. This is why we came here, to go through this crap. But hey, in the end, everything's going to be fine. Why? Because good always triumphs over evil in the end. Does it ever end? No. We are on the road to Ruta. It's the road that counts. It's traveling. It's the experience that we're having right now that counts. You hit a goal, that's great. You go on to the next goal. It's the journey, not the destination. And on that journey, right now, THETA Token has almost doubled. For good reason. THETA, the 2.0 version of their software is coming out, blockchain, and I think people are starting to learn what THETA can do, especially given lockdown. Yes, THETA is going to be a monster in broadband, in streaming. Yes, at some point, we're going to get rid of YouTube and go use THETA. Earn some THETA fuel. At some point. Now, the other reason I like this token is they didn't go through an ICO. And I think if we do adopt cryptos as part of the new system, the regulators are going to come down on the ICO guys, whoever they are. If you ICO'd, that's a problem. And they pretty much said that. So just be aware of that. No, THETA never ICO'd. They were going to. They didn't really need the money. That was the other thing. Luckily, they were a little later. I think they were going to ICO in January or February of 2018. So kind of we were on the downswing. And Samsung's in there and a lot of big names in there. A lot of big developers. It was such an amazing idea that they didn't need the money. So they did an ICO, which gets them free reign out of the regulators, which is great. I'm not saying the regulators won't say anything, but those who did ICO and think they got away scot-free, you better think again. These people can do anything they want. The SEC and the people who control the SEC can do anything they want. Veritasium, case in point. If you read the Veritasium response to the SEC's allegations, you'll say, oh my God, Reggie, why'd you give up? I still don't know why he gave up. He said it would be too expensive of a fight. That's possible. I would say, yeah, the judges were not on, the judges don't uphold the law. And the system is rigged against people like Reggie Middleton who try to change the old system and make it more fair. So will it come back? I hope so. I'm hanging on to my Veritasium. It's a lottery ticket. Most lottery tickets are losers. End up with zero. Once in a while, the lottery comes true and good triumphs over evil. And Reggie offers a solution to our criminal exchange system. By now, everybody should know that the whole system is rigged, and ICE is the number one facilitator of that rig, the Intercontinental Exchange. They own the stock market, the comics, they own pretty much every exchange out there. And it's a criminal operation. It's done with computers and market rigging. Rehypothecated shares, you name it. Even for U.S. Treasury certificates. U.S. Treasury certificates are owned by more than one people. A single certificate is owned by more than one people. One person, many multiples by now. That's all part of the repo con, and yeah. But hey, THETA doesn't have to deal with that shit. And also Samsung's looking for a blockchain. THETA would be the obvious choice. THETA is the only one they're really talking about. THETA was built for the concept of Samsung smart TVs. Imagine your smart TV at your home running a THETA Guardian node, helping to secure the THETA blockchain. Everyone, and you won't even know it, except you'll get the THETA fuel as it mines. It'll say, oh my God, look at all this THETA fuel I got. Just by watching TV and running my Guardian node in the background. That's what Samsung is working on and THETA is working on, and they're literally, they're sleeping together, shall we say. So yes, I am a big fan of the THETA token. You can get it on CoinSwitch. That's where I can get it. CoinSwitch is basically you use whatever, Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, whatever you got. If they support that coin, they'll do a switch for you. So you just swap it out. Fees aren't bad. So go to coinswitch.com, buy your THETA today. Or join the Road to Ruta if you have no idea what cryptos are. Join the Road to Ruta for 1 year on the private road, and you get 100 THETA and 100 THETA fuel. On a paper wallet, all you got to, along with a silver coin, all you got to do is stick it in your vault. Stick it with your physical silver and your other cryptos. And then you just wait. That's what a lot of people did when I was screaming about Bitcoin at $200. They bought their Road to Ruta subscription for a year. They got their, I think I was giving $20 worth of Bitcoin away at the time, which is what at the time it was 0.1 Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was $200 and I was giving away 0.1 Bitcoin. So what's 0.1 Bitcoin today? It's $900. That's how that works. You just stick it away and wait. Again, that's just go to roadtoruta.com, hit subscribe today. It'll tell you all about the THETA program we got going. This THETA program is going to end when THETA hits 20 cents. So, yeah, I don't know when that'll be. I think it's fast. It's already doubled. It'll probably double again as the cryptos move up. Word of warning, cryptos can be very hazardous and very volatile. And yes, all rigged on a computer, so they can drive the price down if they want. Keep an eye on THETA. All right, let's talk about silver and gold. Pretty much held 100% controlled. I hope everybody gets this. I am hearing that silver is freeing up, as in the physical stuff, and the price hasn't moved. What happened? So, yes, you can buy silver right now. If you have a local coin shop, most likely they aren't open because of the lockdown. But if they are open, go down there and get yourself some physical silver. The price is still low. Premiums are still high, but the premiums are starting to come down. And this is normal. We see this all the time. And then basically they slam the price down to get long on the COMEX contracts, the futures and options. That's exactly why JP Morgan did this. Yes, they are a criminal bank. They slammed the price of silver down, and now all of a sudden they went from a huge short position to a long position. And they have over 1 billion ounces in the background in their warehouse. Is it criminal? Absolutely. Is it market manipulation? Absolutely. Is it condoned and protected by the CFTC? Absolutely. Some people say, hey, market rigging is all part of the free markets, Bix. I agree. I agree. But people should know that the market is rigged. You shouldn't have the CFTC in there saying we are protecting this market. That's the problem with that system. The free market has rigging all over the place. And that's fine. But you cannot tell people that, hey, we're the government, we're here to make sure this is a freely traded market, and not do that. So the real fraud is with the CFTC. But they worked with JP Morgan to set up the rigging operation. JP Morgan and friends in the banking cabal. This is an official operation. Started in the early 1970s when it went off the gold standard, implemented Greenspan's computer trading programs, and they're still running today. Now, many of the banks got a hold of them, have been rigging the markets for a very long time. Now JP Morgan's trying to double cross those riggers and not playing the game because they're going long silver. Remember when the U.S. government took out the Hunt brothers back in the late 70s, early 80s? What did they do? The Hunt brothers bought up over 100 million ounces of silver. Well, JP Morgan has over 1 billion ounces of physical silver. Where Where's the justice? There is some good news for on the justice side. Absolutely. Michael Flynn was finally released. Finally, the case was dropped. Why? Because it was a setup. And anybody who doesn't think it's a setup, why don't you read the court case? What were they going after him for? For lying to Mike Pence. Was it a big deal that he talked to a Russian ambassador because he was the incoming guy? No, it was no deal. There was no law broken. Lying to the vice president is not a law. You can't lie to the vice president or you go to jail for 4.6 years. It's ridiculous. And it wasn't even it was an insignificant misremembering, or even if it was a lie, it does not matter. There was no law broken. But Comey and Strzok and Page and those guys, we all know what happened. Finally, Flynn is let go. Hopefully, he'll sue every single one of them personally. I don't think they can get away with it. Yes, the U.S. government should pay through the teeth. It's our stupidity that let this happen. Why? Because we allowed people like Comey and Obama and Bush being off. And all the flunkies at the FBI. We allowed the deep state to happen. And that's what Trump's trying to get rid of. Is this a big deal? Not really, not yet. It will be when these people are tried for treason and hung. That's the ultimate price for treason is death. And this is exactly what was committed, treason. And when you think about it, oh my God, a decorated general taken out by a bunch of sleazebag pedos. That's bad news. But hey, they say the wheels of justice turn slowly. Let's find out. Okay, that's great. You drop the charges against Flynn, but where you have all the information on all these criminals. The Clintons, the Bushes, the Obamas. Remember, the NSA has everything ever written, ever spoken. They record everything. There is no missing email. There is no missing text messages between Strzok and Page. They have it all. They should play that card now. After what they did to us, with the damn virus release, of course it was the deep state. Anyway, what does CNN have to say about this? Absolutely nothing. Why? Because they were in on it. And if they start talking about it, it just implicates them more. They're on the run. CNN, the people within CNN, could be facing treason charges as well. They have all the text messages. They have all the documentation of what went down, including Congress on the Democratic side. They have everything. But on the good side, Trump calls for dirty cops to pay big price for Russia probe after release of transcripts. Absolutely, Trump's calling for a treason investigation. The investigation's already going on. They should be charged for treason because that's what they did. I know people don't like to think that, but that's what our country has turned into. Will the good guys win? I hope so. A good sign? Yeah, letting Flynn off is I think is absolutely should have been done a long time ago. But it's not an arrest. That's what we're waiting on. Where are the arrests? Where are the charges? This is a good sign, but it's not the big deal. This is what happened because of the virus, and the Democrats are just jumping up and down. Worst jobs reported in history, 20 million jobs lost as unemployment rate hits 14.7%. It's actually up to 20%. Because they had to change how they report again for the millionth time. Take a look at these industries that have lost jobs. Leisure hospitality payrolls are down. These are job losses. These are firings. They're not like, hey, just stay home and we'll keep paying your salary. These are firings. 7,653,000 in this report, just in the month of April. 7,653,000. Retail, 2,106,000. Professional and business services, 2,128,000. Healthcare and social assistance, you think that should be booming? No. Basically, everybody's putting off any elective surgery. All the fluffy stuff is gone. Hospitals are firing everybody. Down 2 million jobs. Manufacturing down 1,000,003. Construction down 975, and that's gonna, oh my God, housing market is gonna get destroyed. The latest on Airbnb is everybody that built up a beautiful 3 or 4 Airbnb rentals are gonna lose their ass. You're looking for a really beautiful house coming on the market at half the price that it was bought for just a year before. Just wait till Airbnb starts flooding the market. You're going to see housing prices drop like you've never seen. But you can't get a loan, so that makes them drop farther. All you guys out there holding on to your silver and cryptos to buy a house with cash when the housing market fails and the banks fail, that day's coming faster than you thought. Information down 250,000. Financial activities. I don't even know what financial activities means. Down 260,000. Transportation warehouses down 500,000. Crazy. We're at 20% now, which is what? 60, 70 million people that have filed? No, wait. We're at 20% that are now on unemployment. They use percentages, but then you're like, what percent? No, that's of the working people of working age, I think, is how they use percentage. Let's find out how many people we're talking. Number of persons not in the labor force who currently want a job is 10 million. But they drop people off. Number of persons that work part-time for economic reasons have doubled to 10 million because they got laid off. Number of persons who usually work full-time declined by 15 million. Labor force participation decreased by 2.5%. Total unemployment as measured by household survey, 133 million. Wow. Total employment, 133. Yeah, it's ugly out there. It is really ugly. And these jobs aren't coming back. Look at the average hourly earnings year on year. Destroyed. Labor force participation destroyed. 18 million Americans believe they will get their jobs back within 6 months. Good luck to that. Wow. That's crazy. But those jobs aren't coming back. I wanted to point this out. One of my favorite people out there, Candace Owens, Twitter blocked her. Twitter blocked Candace Owens. Candace Owens is the future of our youth, if you ask me. And they, of course, said, oh my God, it was a mistake. Oh, sorry about that. Twitter apologizes to Candace Owens after briefly locking her account. Are they sending a message again? Another message? Who knows? Hey, also, a subscriber of Road to Ruda, Greg Tanaka, wrote an article in China Daily. And he quotes Bix Weir of roadtoruda.com. Tale of Two Cities, what China should do now. So it talks about what the U.S. is going through. Really good article. Global China Daily. It's called A Tale of Two Cities, what China should do now, by Greg Tanaka. And he talks about the two problems going on. Number one is the U.S. is in the throes of a constitutional crisis with the Democrats literally committing treason against Trump, and it's chaos. It's pure chaos. And the second part, he talks about the banks and the hedge funds and the repo market collapsing. So we have an economic collapse and we have a political collapse. Anyway, he gets to let's see here. Talks about the repos. Meanwhile, U.S. banks and hedge funds are experiencing a major shortage of cash. Like in 2008, the U.S. banking sector appears to be in a liquidity crisis where there is a shortage of necessary capital for an economy to go about its daily work. Now, remember, this was written in December, before the real problem started. This is evidenced by recent resort by the U.S. banks to repurchase agreements or repos, where banks surrender government securities they hold in reserve to the Federal Reserve Bank in exchange for cash, so they can open their doors the next day. Well said. This comes at a time when the U.S. economy is already weighed down by debt at all levels and living under a global cloud of $1.5 quadrillion in speculative instruments called derivatives. What makes this use of repos unusual is that banks normally loan cash to each other overnight. A reluctance to do so suggests a growing fear within the U.S. banking sector that is over-leveraged to a point where a simple overnight loan to another bank might not get paid back. Now here comes the Bix Weir part. Check this out. The resort to repos may well have reached its tipping point. Popular financial commentator Bix Weir, December 2019, reports that where large banks sought $50 billion in cash from the Fed every night from September to October, this repo activity reached $350 billion nightly by early December, and according to Weir, may well reach $750 billion by December 31st, which it did, and now it's at $3.4 trillion. Widely followed statistician Jim Willey argues we may even see repo activities of $1 trillion daily. This compares to the one-time bailout of $650 billion the banks requested in Congress in 2008. Now, what they did, we're not seeing big repos anymore. Why? Because they said that's not going to help, that we can't get enough. We can't get enough of that money. So the Fed said, okay, sell us all your shit assets and we'll pay over fair market value for it. That's where we get to 3.4 trillion, almost 3.5 trillion. If you're on the private road, I keep a running tally of that. Anyway, hey, it's nice to be quoted. Thank you, Gregory, in ChinaDaily.com. Now everybody hates China, so who knows what's going to go on? Who knows? It's a crazy world we're living in. Anyway, you want to join the Road to Ruta, get your THETA token and your silver Ruta coin. Go to roadtoruta.com, hit subscribe today. Yes, renewals. I will be giving out 100 THETA and 100 THETA Teal for renewals, and I'll just tack the extra year onto the end of your current expiration date. So you can buy as many years as you want, and you'll get the THETA and the silver coin. Again, once THETA hits 20 cents, I'm going to stop this giveaway. This is Bix. I'll talk to you guys later.